Hi everyone. In this video, I'd like to talk about paranoia. So paranoia is something that a lot of children of narcissists have, and rightly so. They have paranoid ways of thinking because in their childhood, they've had to develop those styles of thinking to be able to protect themselves from what was happening in the environment. When they were having to read subtext, second guess people's agendas, third guess people's agendas, and have a real awareness of what dark motives people may have around their behaviours. So let's have a look at paranoia. So let's have a look at an article on my website, which is called Paranoia, and it's on childrenofnarcissists.org.uk. Many children from abusive homes have lifelong issues with trust and very strong paranoid tendencies. This paranoia has served an important purpose during the person's life, as it was best for them to try to read the subtext in situations, expect the worst, and to not take anything at face value. They will often develop strong sensitivities to reading and feeling the moods of others. So lots of people talk about being very empathic, being able to read a room, being hypersensitive to noticing everyone in the room, not liking rooms where there's a lot of people because that can feel overwhelming, trying to read too many people at once. So lots of children of narcissists actually like to be in smaller groups and might have social anxiety because of these reasons, because of the trauma underlying. They may develop the coping mechanism of catastrophising, which is giving a lot of time and energy to thinking about possible worst case scenarios. This is part of the pattern of hypervigilant behaviours of complex PTSD. While paranoid ways of thinking were necessary in childhood, in adulthood these ways of thinking may not be realistic, with the exception of dealing with toxic people, which are cluster B personality disordered people such as histrionic, borderline, narcissistic and antisocial personality disorders belong to the cluster B, and psychopaths are a subset of the antisocial personality disorder. Some children of narcissists may have elements of paranoid personality disorder below. So here I'm looking at the paranoid personality disorder characteristics from the DSM, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual written by the American Psychiatric Association. Paranoid personality disorder is a pervasive distrust and suspiciousness of others such that their motives are interpreted as malevolent, beginning by early childhood and present in a variety of contexts, as indicated by 4 or more of the following. 1. Suspects without sufficient basis that others are exploiting, harming or deceiving him or her. 2. Is preoccupied with unjustified doubts about the loyalty or trustworthiness of friends or associates. 3. Is reluctant to confide in others because of the unwarranted fear that the information will be used maliciously against him or her. 4. Reads hidden, demeaning or threatening meanings into benign remarks or events. 5. Persistently bears grudges, i.e. is unforgiving of insults, injuries or slights. 6. Perceives attacks on his or her character or reputation that are not apparent to others and is quick to react angrily or to counterattack. 7. Has recurrent suspicions without justification regarding fidelity of spouse or sexual partner. Does not occur exclusively during the course of schizophrenia, a bipolar disorder or a depressive disorder with psychotic features or another psychotic disorder, and is not attributable to the physiological effects of another medical condition. So considering this in terms of a child of a narcissist will have been harmed and deceived, had disloyal and untrustworthy parents, had personal information used maliciously against them, had threatening things said to them which appeared benign, and had their character constantly attacked. The brain will have adapted to this hostile environment when growing up and would have made paranoid ways of thinking part of its reality by necessity. This leaves children of narcissists as adults with distorted thinking patterns. These can be studied and then adjusted to better fit current reality and a healthier way of thinking and viewing the world. So children of narcissists are going to have these ways of thinking. So it can be good to develop our self-awareness around them. So we have these mistrustful thoughts, we read subtext, we see hidden messages, threatening messages. We bear grudges because then for us that person's too dangerous to be around because they remind us of the narcissistic parent. We see threatening subtext in comments that are perhaps benign. We don't want to confide in others because then that information is used against us as weapons to harm us later. So we have a fear of that. The closest people to children of narcissists, their parents, have betrayed them, have been untrustworthy, have been disloyal. So when you have that lesson, when you've learned that life lesson very early, then it's going to be very hard to be able to trust anyone when the closest people to you have betrayed you. So this is the reality that a child of a narcissist lived in as a child. But then as we get older, it can be good to examine the thoughts that we have about our relationships, and are they justified, or are they a trauma response which is left over from our childhood and it's trying to protect us and has protected us in the past, but now it can become a handicap or like a prison. We keep ourselves safe and we keep ourselves at a distance from other people, but then that gets in the way of our ability to be close to others, to have relationships with others, and our protection becomes like a prison, actually. So part of the healing is finding a way out of the protection that we've built for ourselves, that maybe we could be living a nicer life if we could let our guard down. So I hope this information was useful, and take care of yourselves. Bye.